welcome to Ring the Damn Bell. Tonight, I have a very special co-host with us. I interviewed her a few days ago. She is one of the women that was partially responsible for leading that path for other women in professional wrestling to be able to get into professional wrestling and be where they're at today. And of course, that is Miss April, who you all will know as the Royal Hawaiian. She's one of the original Glow Girls. How are you doing, April?
Good. Aloha. Hi, guys.
Good. And of course, yep. And of course, I have my sidekick, the wrestling enthusiast, Mark. What's going on, brother?
Not much. Just happy April could join us.
Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
yep. And real quick, and I'm sorry I have to do this in front of you, April, but there's an issue with Mark that we have to talk about. You see, a couple of podcasts ago, about a week ago maybe, Mr. Mark here had decided that, well, I'm just going to do the podcast outside because it's so nice. And because he did that, we now have crap ton of snow. It's freezing outside. Tuesday is going to be negative 13. So thank you for that, Mark. I really appreciate you poking Mother Nature and pissing her off.
Oh my God, there's no way you'd get me in that kind of weather. Like I'm in a tank top and shorts.
Yeah, it's crazy. Um,
Yeah.
so so a couple of news items, actually a couple of major news items. Bear Boulder, whose real name is Thomas Winsor, who had a contract with AEW. He has been fired from AEW for domestic assault. Apparently, he tried to strangle his fiancee. Now, this is the question, though, to both of you. Obviously, you are innocent until proven guilty.
Mm-hmm.
Should AEW should they have allowed Bear to continue his contract until he was found guilty? Because we've seen what happened to another professional wrestler in WWE. I can't remember his name. Otis or Odom, he was with the New Day for about 10 seconds. They found out about some accusations, and of course, WWE fired him as well. So again, the question is should these companies wait till they're actually found guilty before they let them go?
It's kind of a public relations thing. They don't want that negative publicity. So right, wrong, or indifferent, I think it's just a PR position.
Yeah. What about you, April?
Well, they do it for all major sports, NFL, MLB, NBA, and yes, you are innocent until proven guilty, but suppose they end up being found guilty and you kept them employed for all that time. So I think the right move is to, maybe not fire them, but they got to do something. Some kind of action needs to be done because we see it all the time, And for me, my personal opinion is I don't care what sport it is. So any major sport, wrestling included, you guys are in the public eye. If you don't have enough sense, just like with the NFL, they can pick up the phone, and if they're drunk and they're needing to get a ride, you get in your car and you drive drunk and you're
Right.
with other NFL guys who see you with keys and you still let that person go out there, all they have to do is make a phone call. They'll send somebody to get you. But if
Right.
you're that stupid that you're going to get behind a car, or in this case, it's domestic violence, what are you doing, even jeopardizing your position with AEW, WWE? So, some of it is common sense, and I get it that sometimes, alcohol impairs, drugs impairs, all of that. But I think it's the right thing to do because suppose the person is guilty,
Right.
then you've got them still working for 6 months, a year and a half, how long it's going to take to prove that they're not guilty. And then if they're not guilty, then you hire them back, put them back into action. And then, of course, the fans know what's going on.
Right.
I'm for it because I personally know some athletes who have done that where they've actually driven drunk, had a DUI, killed somebody, one of the Angel players, and just it's nonsense. One of my nephews was killed by a drunk driver, and so I'm a uh, advocate for drunk driving, and I've been a designated. My nickname is Double D because I will be the designated driver if it means somebody else wants to, partake in wherever we are. I don't have a problem. I can do that because it's just nonsense. So between drunk driving or being under the influence and domestic violence, there's just not a good reason for it.
Yep, I agree. The other big news is coming from WWE. It has been all over professional wrestling news. Five superstars has been released: Cedric Alexander, Blair Davenport, and Authors of Pain, which is a tag team made up of Akeem and Razor. Also, Sonya Deville has been released, and Paul Ellering with Authors of Pain. They have all been let go. Now, I tell you, I am a huge AOP fan just because I desperately miss the Road Warriors. And I was like, initially I'm like, these guys weren't booked correctly. AOP could have done so much better. Hopefully they'll go to AEW. But me and Bob Cook had a conversation about it, and he said something very interesting. He said sometimes people aren't being used for reasons that we're not meant to know because it would put those people in a bad light. Not one person released so far has been a positive to the WWE's bottom line, and has been nothing more than a negative to their payroll, or they wouldn't have been released at all. He said this happens every year around this time. And on a side note, none of them released would put a dent in helping any other company they went to. People won't want to admit it, but that's the reality. And I tell you, I understand why he said that because, we look at it, or at least me and Mark look at it from a fan's aspect of it, whereas Bob Cook, since he wrestled for so many years, he's looking at it from a business standpoint. So I get it. And he knows a lot more about professional wrestling than I do. But it still doesn't change the fact that as a fan of AOP, because they remind me so much of the Road Warriors with Paul Ellering, I'm a Paul Ellering guy. I would love nothing more than to see them end up in AEW and they actually have a good run. Mark, what are your thoughts on what Bob said, and as a fan of AOP yourself?
I read what Bob posted, and he's absolutely right. And I guess I look at it as a fan first, not a business. Because I don't deal with that aspect of the business. I'd love to, but don't. Um, AOP, I think you're spot on. A hell of a team. They were just not booked right or whatever, utilized correctly. But again, there's behind the scenes issues or things that we don't know about. So maybe there was a reason why they weren't booked. So Bob put it in a logistical manner. You know, so I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah, and this is why I love having people like Bob on to co-host. We do Raw, and people like you, April, because you're also a professional wrestler, so you also may look at it differently than what, again, me and Mark will look at it at because we're just the fans. We don't know the politics that goes on behind the scenes, and we really don't care about the bottom line. WWE is a business. They have to care about the bottom line. So,
Right.
what are your thoughts on all this as well?
Well, a lot of it also is you don't really know what's going on. So as a fan, you're just seeing what they're putting out there, right? What is being talked about. And like even as early as with us, we had things go on within Glow that were political or why certain things were done a certain way. And a lot of it happens to do with the individual wrestlers. We don't know what they did. I did an interview with oh gosh, I think I can't remember the show, but they asked what would be a reason you could get fired, and that could be anything. I mean, if the promoter tells you to do one thing and you don't do it, or there's something going on in the locker room and it gets back to the promoter, they don't need a real reason, and the fans may never know why it happens, right?
Yeah.
But apparently, there's something going on, whether it's the fans, they weren't getting enough maybe feedback or positive feedback on a particular wrestler. Maybe it was some kind of issue in the locker room. Maybe it was something to do with the promoter and management. You never know. So, I could see why that happens. And, sometimes it might be your favorite wrestler, but you
Yeah.
just know, and you're kind of like, okay, well, man, they were doing really good. And now all of a sudden they're getting kicked out the door, or they were
Right.
on the blocks, right? They usually do it in a little clump, 4, 5, 6 of them. All of a sudden you're like, whoa, man, did you hear so-and-so got cut and so-and-so got cut? And you're like, why?
Right.
So you never know. I mean, I know it happens. And um, like for you guys, I know fans are always wanting their favorites, but a favorite might not always be
Right.
someone workable with the
Oh,
company or
yeah.
wrestlers. Who knows?
Right. And you're absolutely right. And I tell you, this was a very important lesson or reminder to me, because I'm guilty of it. If someone's not on television enough, or they're losing too much, or I see they let go, I'm guilty of it as a fan, saying, why would they let these guys go? They could have done this or that. And you often forget that this is a business.
Yep.
And this what,
Dollar, right?
Bob, yeah,
It,
this is what Bob reminded me of today. And I appreciate what he said and his honesty. I really do. But let's get to the show, because we have a little bit to talk about tonight. We got some answers involving Cody Rhodes and whether or not he's going to relinquish the title. So let's get to it, Mark.
Hold on, real quick though.
Sure.
Cedric Alexander, I thought he was let go like a year ago. I hadn't seen him in over a year.
I
You know,
agree. When I seen that name, I'm like, oh, he still works there?
right, right. You know, and Sonya Deville, it's tough to go from the Royal Rumble to being fired a week later. You know, and I always thought Sonya Deville. I didn't care for her much at first, but she kind of grew on me. And to be honest, she's a hell of a talent, and she's got legitimate fighting skills. You
yeah,
know,
me too. I didn't care for her at the beginning either. She kind of had to grow on me. I kind of was like, I don't know if I really care for her. But I would say I liked her more in more recent days than before, because I really didn't care for her at the beginning.
Yeah, I have to be honest with you guys. I didn't like Sonya either at the beginning, and I didn't like her until she got fired. And there was nothing against her, and she is a good talent. She does have legit fighting abilities. As I always say, there was just this disconnect that I just couldn't get invested in her, nor could I get invested in the faction that she had. And I should have been able to, because those are three great talents that were in that faction. There was just something there with me that I wasn't able to get invested into anything with them. But I wish them all, they all deserve to find success and to be able to prove their value within professional wrestling.
so that comes to mind because I've seen this a dozen times today. Um, with AW or WWF working or WWE, sorry, working with TNA, is TNA a viable outlet now?
You know what? I thought the exact same thing, Mark. I'm like, wow, could these guys go to, if AEW doesn't want them, can they go to TNA? I would have to say that they could, because WWE, they're just partnered together. They don't own TNA yet. I'm predicting that's going to happen within the next year, but they don't own them yet. So I don't see why they couldn't. I mean, not I don't want to go deep into this topic, but I'm just going to mention a name. Tessa Blanchard. WWE didn't want Tessa Blanchard because of all of the allegations, but yet they still partnered with TNA with Tessa there, and she's still there. So I have to imagine that, at least as of right now, TNA can still hire who they want to hire.
She's one of my favorite wrestlers.
She's mine too.
I I've met her. I've been at shows with her, and You know, it's a shame that, if I could take her aside and tell her a couple things, I would tell her to keep her mouth quiet. You know, I mean, she's still got to say her piece and all of that, but she's been in enough hot water to know better. I mean, look at WoW, just WoW.
Yeah.
When it was with WoW, she was amazing. She was a fan favorite. She's a hell of a wrestler. Great shape. Just, I mean, my favorite, one of my very first real favorite wrestlers. And then she had a problem with another one of my good friends, and then that wasn't a good thing, and that went everywhere. And when people start hearing what you're talking about or what your views are on racial subjects or personalities or whatever, it's not a good thing. And then it goes from one promotion to the next, to the next, to the next. Well, she got brought back to WoW after all the negativity and all that, and she even got executive producer credits, and she still couldn't get along with everybody.
Yeah, well,
So
I'll tell you what though, April. And then I'm going to go to the show, but I'll say this much: like, it's safe to say that Mark will agree with me. We both love Tessa Blanchard. We both have said that she is in the top three best female wrestlers out
I
there.
want
My
ML
dream, yeah, my
and
dream match. I would love to see her, Charlotte Flair main event the WrestleMania. I think that would be one hell of a match. Um, but this is what I'm
I
going to
hope
say, and then
I
I'm
hope
going to,
I hope she gets a shot. I hope she gets a chance
yeah,
to really show her talent because she's a hell of a wrestler.
yeah, and I agree. And I'll say this, and we'll go into SmackDown. How is someone going to prove that they've learned that lesson, that they've changed, that they've matured, if you don't give them a second chance?
Exactly. So
And
that's why
that's just the bottom line.
she's got to take advantage of this and
Right.
show that, she is who she is, and she's a great wrestler, and just put it all out there. Show everybody. That's
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
say,
I've been doing everything I could to get her on the show to do an interview with her.
mhm.
I've talked to Magnum, and he was like, "I'll ask her, but she's her own woman." So if you should happen to know her, April, my God, that would be one that I would love to have on. But anyway, Mark, let's get to the show, my man.
All right. So, they do their traditional, what's coming up tonight, whatever, people walking in, whatever. We start out with Jey Uso to the ring, and he basically calls out Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes plugs, hey, what do you want to talk? Oh, Jey, I know what you want to talk about. You want to talk about WrestleMania. All right. Cody goes into his medical issues, water his elbow, hip out of alignment. I think there's a couple things he alluded to but didn't mention what they were. Pretty shortly, Jacob Fatu and Tama Loa come out to ring. Want the belt back in the family, and Jey, you're not the one to do it. A fight breaks out. Fatu levels Cody, just leveled Cody. Finally, Jey and Cody get rid of the two of them.
Yeah, go ahead, April. What do you think about the segment?
Hmm. I Like I said last time, I'm just not a Cody Rhodes fan, so I was kind of excited to see what Jey Uso was gonna do. And, hearing about his injuries and all that, and we all know that it's a tough thing. Getting injured is not fun. So I'm just waiting to see. I was excited to see Jay and the other two. It was good, even though they ended up being, you know, working out together and stuff. It was okay. I was okay with the match, and the outcome was great, and it was a good match. But I'm just not a fan of Cody.
Where did you land on this, Mark?
You know what? I thought the segment was decent. I'm getting really short nowadays with 7-minute entrances, you know, and then followed by another 4 or 5 minute entrance for the next person. I'm growing really short on that. Matter of fact, the main event I wanted to get done by a certain time because I started it late, and it was 25 minutes left of the show, and I had 12 minutes to finish it. Now with entrance and commercials, I finished it on time. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, how much filler is this? So when they're
Well,
talking show, it's like 2 hours, 15 minutes. Maybe even 2 hours with all the fillers they got in there. And as I get older, I have less and less patience for
Patience.
uh
That's
seven-
me. I usually have really good patience, but you know what? Sometimes I'm like, come on, let's just get down to it. Can you guys start wrestling?
I kind of agree with both you guys, but there is the exception. Right now, Jay Uso deserves everything that he's getting, including the long entrance. The fans screaming, one more time, and him getting them to play his music and doing the Yeet thing one more time. He deserves every bit of that, and I really hope he's eating all of this up right now. I'm really happy for him. And it's Cody Rhodes. Look, I'm not gonna say I'm not a fan of Cody Rhodes. I'm gonna say I'm not a fan of a babyface Cody Rhodes. I love heel Cody Rhodes. He is. People will be surprised how good of a heel he is. He has the ability to really piss off the crowd and make them angry just on the things he says about them. I mean, and he will walk to a fan and tell a fan about themselves. He's a great, great heel. I'm just not into the cheesy kiss butt type of a baby face.
Me either.
It's very much how Hogan used to be. That's why
That's
I
what I.
wasn't a fan of Hogan.
I don't.
But the segment, I like the segment. Um, I like how they're still making Fatu look so strong right now. And I hope they continue to do that. Now, we'll talk about this in the main event, but I have a question for both of you once we get there.
All right, so next we go to Bianca versus Piper Niven.
Yeah, my
Uh,
girl.
I really didn't get excited over this match. I mean, we all know Bianca's strong. We all know that she can probably and showed that she could pick up Piper Niven, you know. So it was no surprise that Bianca got the win. Um, I kind of like you, Kevin. I like to be swerved every now and then, and it would have been nice to see Piper actually get the win.
I agree. What about you, April? What do you think about this match?
It was good, but just like Mark said, Bianca's strong. People are waiting to see her, just heave ho her and get her either over the ropes or do one of her great moves, and care. It's just awesome to see her and because of the size difference, it's exciting to show Bianca's strength and her abilities that yeah, probably could have leaned a little bit towards Piper, but I was happy with the outcome because I just think Bianca's amazing.
Well,
Yeah,
she is. You know, I mean, when she picked up Otis at one time, I was like, "Holy crap!" You know, I mean, you're talking what, latest maybe 160, maybe.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
Well, how about when she was doing the 2 and 3 girls? So
yeah,
imagine that. Even if each one was only 100 pounds, that's 300 pounds.
right. And that's what I was going to
No, they're
say.
not 100 pounds. They might be a little over that, but
Yeah,
her picking up 2 or 3 of them is just amazing in itself. Forget about the win or whatever, but just her strength.
well,
So
yeah,
I'm always entertained when she comes out. I'm always looking to see what she's going to try to do and what her opponent's going to try to also pull on her. So
right. And that's what I was going to say is, look, when she picked up Piper Nevin from the top rope and carried her to the middle of the ring, that was impressive because we've seen other women do that with Piper Nevin, except they never made it to the middle of the ring. They took 1 or 2 steps and then they had to do whatever they're going to do with her. The fact that she actually walked with Piper Nevin to the middle of the ring, that was impressive, but I agree with Mark. When I'm watching matches, I like to have that suspense. When there's an attempted pin, I want to be like, holy shit, like she may actually pull this off. But this match, it just wasn't there because I knew damn well that Piper Niven, I mean that Bianca Belair was going to go
yeah.
over and to the elimination chamber. But Mark, here's a question for you: if you were a betting man, would you bet on her winning the Elimination Chamber?
I don't think so. I think unless she drops her tag titles, I don't think she's going to win it. I think the odds are that she's going to win it, but I don't think she's going to win it. I don't
Yeah.
know who, because we haven't had all the entries yet.
Right. What about you, April?
All we got now is what, Alexa Bliss and Bianca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Bailey's going to be there. I don't know who else is going to be in there after that.
It's going to be Green, Chelsea Green. She's going to be in it.
You know what? It's hard because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, like you're saying, everybody's expecting Bianca to do good. Like I wouldn't have been surprised if Piper would have won because she, she gets her moves in there and she can hold her own and all of that. Now coming up to the Elimination Chamber, I don't know. We'll see who all is there to finish and see who's contending for that. But Bianca's always going to have that upper hand, but I don't always think that she's going to always win either. So it just depends.
Yeah,
I don't.
and I agree with Mark as well. Unless she dropped that title, I don't see her winning. But I tell you what, if they lose that title between now and the Elimination Chamber PLE, I guarantee you that Jade Cargill is going to be there at that PLE, and she's going to have some type of an involvement with Bianca Belair and Naomi. Again, that's if they drop those tag team titles beforehand, because it was so Jade was legitimately injured, and the doctors just cleared her to return to the ring. So
Another one. That one is just amazing too. So
yep.
I don't know. Wait to see this one because I don't know. I'll wait and
I
see.
agree.
Yeah, could
All right.
could someone we're not expecting.
Yeah. Yep. Go ahead, Mark.
All right. So next we're to Adam Pearce. He was talking to somebody, but then Camilla Hayes came in, and I don't know who he's talking to at first. I can't remember. Tells Hayes he's going to face somebody from Raw for his Elimination Chamber entrance. Is that right? And at first, Camilla Hayes is like, no, that ain't happening, blah, blah, blah. Then he finds out it's Tozawa, and he's more than elated to face him.
Yeah, so it went to Adam Pearce saying that you're going to face him because you attacked him at the Royal Rumble, and he could have been the guy who possibly won. I was actually excited for this match, but it did not go the way I thought it was going to go. And I'll be honest with you, and we'll get there. But I thought that they made Carmelo Hayes look really weak in this match, and we'll talk about it once we get there.
And that's where I missed a lot of that match. I ended up getting a call, and I didn't get to catch all of it. So yeah,
Cover it. Go ahead, Mark.
DIY in the ring. Just kind of bragging or whatnot. But one thing, did Ciampa's nose get bigger? I mean, he's surpassing Triple H as far as the snow. Hit him, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what happened to your nose, dude? It's like twice the size of what it was a month ago.
I mean, let's be fair. This is why our truth called him Triple H.
Right.
They cracked me up.
God, I was like, yeah, I mean, it just drew me in. I mean, whatever he said was irrelevant and secondary to how big is your fucking nose, actually. So anyways, Pretty Deadly comes out and they're like, hey man, we helped you retain your belts. We helped you. And Ciampa's like, well, you know what? We're here for a moment of silence for the machine guns, and you're interrupting that. Adam Pearce comes out and says, well, boys, whether you deserve it or not, you're going to get a shot, but it's going to be a non-title shot. But if you get the pin tonight, you're going to be a contender. And the match starts now, and the boys were in their street clothes.
Yeah. So, look, this is the issue that I had. It was an okay match, but Pretty Deadly, they were really trying hard to play the role of babyface, and the fans just wasn't buying it. I think that, at least in my opinion, if creative tries to push these guys at baby faces, they're setting them up to lose because the fans just, again, they will not cheer for them. And I'll be honest, they got the pin, so they get their title shot. I'm not excited about it. This match, again, it was okay, but it didn't
Me too.
excite me.
I agree with you completely. I wasn't thrilled about it either.
They'll be the next fashion police.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. I was surprised they got a clean pin though.
Again, they were, you could tell by, I can't remember who's who, the guy with the dark hair, you could tell in the ring whenever he was yelling at the fans, come on, let's go. And the fans were just like, whatever, dude. Like they won't be successful baby faces.
Yeah. And they didn't crowd with behind them at all.
Oh,
And you got to give Ciampa props for wearing I don't know if it was a G-string, but it's pretty low cut underwear. I was like, wow, that's pretty bold. Okay. Ric Flair's butt hanging out halfway, but
yeah.
I'm like, I would have put on at least some boxes or something, but whatever.
Whatever.
All right.
It's funny.
So Andrade and Miz backstage. Miz trying to coach Andrade. Andrade says, well, I beat you last week, so is there really anything you can teach me? Then it goes to Cody and the Miz. And Cody, or Miz being Miz. And what Miz? He's almost timeless. I mean, the guy really hasn't aged in 10 years, it looks like.
Yeah.
I didn't even like him. I don't know. He kind of grew on me. I actually, I think after I saw him on his show is when I kind of took a little bit more interest. And then he was on Dancing with the Stars, and I was kind of impressed with this dancing, and just seeing him outside of the ring, kind of got me a little bit more interested to watch him a little bit more. Prior to all that, he was just okay. But
Yeah, see, I was never a Miz fan either. What got me to start liking the Miz is respect, because this guy has been with WWE for a very long time. And Miz is on the same level as Bret Hart with one thing. One thing. In the 20 years Miz has been with WWE, he has not one time injured any professional wrestler. And Bret Hart could say, no, that's one thing Bret Hart brags about himself, was he was safe. But just Miz being there as long as he has been, and you have to respect the guy, in my opinion. And when you start respecting him, how can you not like him?
yeah.
He's a great PR guy. He really is. He does PR work for the WWE. I mean, he'll tell you that himself. He says, I'm one of the first people they call, because he is a great public speaker.
Yeah.
As far as liking him, I'm with April. When I saw him outside of the ring and at home and whatnot, this dude is a village idiot with a good heart. He truly, and you can't fault him. And,
I mean, he's corny, sometimes, just what he has to say and all of that. You're kind of like, is this guy for real? But, hey, it works. And, all the community stuff, like he does all those, what do you call them? The superstar, the softball games. And,
Yeah.
He's out there representing, right? So you got to give him credit, and the people like him. He's likable. He might not be, and I can't believe he's been around that long, because he does look good.
Yeah.
got
He
close
does
to
look really good.
That Mark?
20 years.
Yeah, he does. No, I'll be honest with you. I love his dad. His dad cracks me up. Not gonna lie. But no, what I found interesting about this interaction between Cody and Miz is, it almost looked like Cody was really paying attention to what Miz was saying, instead of just kind of being like, yeah, whatever, dude, I'm the world champion. Leave me alone, because Miz is still a heel. But Cody was really listening to him. That kind of surprised me.
You know, it's hard not to listen to the Miz because if you got that many years in that company, you got to know a thing or two. You really do.
Yeah.
So, I think he's entering that elder statesman status.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the matches he's been doing, he has been putting over the younger talent. And you have to have a lot of respect for a professional wrestler that has 20 years under his belt, who's been world champion, who's headlined WrestleMania, two champions, yeah. That is willing to say, that's fine. I'll take the 3 count in order to put this guy over. Again, you got to respect the Miz.
Yeah,
Isn't he grand champion?
Yep.
think so. Yeah.
You got to give him props. I
Yeah.
mean, whether they believed in him or not, they gave it to him twice.
Yep.
So, anyways, props on Miz. I hope he has a continually long career with them.
Yep.
So to Big Jim, Drew, and LA Knight. And LA Knight kind of threw me when he threw out his mental health statement. That really kind of threw me, and apparently it broke character.
Yeah. Yeah. And good for him for doing that because when it comes to men's mental health, um, you know, it's not talked about enough. It's really not. And I agree with everything he said. If you have something going on in your life or some tragedy and, you need to cry, then it doesn't make you less of a man. Let it out. It's healthy for you. Um,
Yeah.
but I tell you, LA Knight is so good that he was able to break character and put that message out there, and then being able to turn it around and have it relate to Drew McIntyre.
Mhm.
That was really cool. Now, this is the biggest thing that surprised me though. When Big Jim came out, and I hate that name, Big Jim, but when he came out, he didn't even get half of the pop that his brother did. And then what was Drew McIntyre's promo? Your brother has surpassed you, way, way surpassed you. And I'm like, wow, how fitting. Jim comes out, doesn't get a huge pop, and then that's Drew McIntyre's promo. And this is the thing, though. Even though Drew's supposed to be the heel, Drew's not wrong.
Yeah, but you know what? When he started the whole, I could have done the yeet or no yeet, the crowd reacted to it.
They
Yeah.
did do that, and I thought that was
Yeah.
cool because he literally said, you know, and they said no yeet. So
Yeah.
you are right, but the initial pop when he came out, it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's my boyfriend. So
Big Jim?
no, Drew McIntyre.
Oh.
You didn't know he was my boyfriend? Just
I'm
don't tell. Just don't tell his wife.
I was going to say, I'm sure his wife would be pleased to know that.
Yeah.
Just don't tell his wife.
Well,
But
and like I said about Drew McIntyre, I was never a big fan. This run as a heel, I've really got to like him because it seems like something just fell in place for him. And again, last night, I thought he did a beautiful job with his promo.
yeah,
I just wish he had a haircut. I think he looked sharper when he had shorter hair.
I think he looked like a goober when he had shorter hair.
He can keep the beard, just cut the hair.
and I don't really like long hair on men, but I like his hair. There isn't much I don't like about that 6'5", 200 and whatever he is. What is he? 85?
Something like
Uh,
that. Yeah. So,
How much?
April, we get it. You would lick ice cream off of his abs. Yes, we understand.
April her loins.
What did you say?
April's leading with her loins.
I thought you said get in line. I said, I'll be the first one in line.
No, he does nothing for me, but thanks.
I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like I always say, like people ask, well, how come you don't like this wrestler, but you like this wrestler? I said, I don't know. Why do you like vanilla ice cream instead of strawberry ice cream? Or why do you like this football player instead of that? It's just our choices, and it's whatever we fancy. But, I don't know. He's always just been, you know, just the one that I like to follow. And I just, everything about him. I like his style. I like his his physique. I think he's a good wrestler. I know a lot of people will have different words, but I think he's well rounded. You know, I mean, I don't. You know, there's a lot of other good wrestlers and you know bigger guys and stronger guys, but I'm happy with his performance.
Well,
And that's
it's like I say all the time, and Mark does too. You know, whenever we say that we don't like a particular wrestler, we never say they suck or they're not talented. We
yeah,
always say that we're just something that doesn't
yeah. Doesn't
connect
jail
us to.
do it
Other
for
fans may like them, and that's great. They have the right to like them because they're good.
yeah.
Just for me, didn't do anything.
Yeah, like for me, Drew McIntyre checks all my boxes. Seth, like I could take it or leave it, you know, and everybody has their different, you know, opinions about their favorite wrestler and what have you, but it's for whatever reason, right? We all have different
Yeah.
tastes and whatever, but I just enjoy watching him wrestle. Like his legs are amazing. His abs are
Okay, next
okay.
segment there, Mark.
If my assistant Juan sees this down the road, he knows that I just, you know, every pay-per-view, every whatever show that I get to watch, I'm always taking pictures of the TV. So yeah, I've got a collection and my collection is pretty much a Drew McIntyre and Bianca and all the pictures and figurines and things like that and what have you. And I got a little sporadic here and there, but definitely a Drew McIntyre fan for sure.
I got that.
What's that?
I don't know if we caught that.
Put it this way, anybody that knows me or has watched me on a podcast or a live or anything, they know I'm a Drew McIntyre fan big time. And if you don't know that, then you don't know me.
Yeah, you know now for sure.
For sure.
All right, so next we go backstage with Damian Priest, I thought. Yeah, with Damian. I didn't write that in my notes, but yeah, it was with Damian. And then Braun Strowman shows up and says pretty much, well, you have to get past me and Jacob Fatu first. And you know what? Damian isn't that much shorter than Braun.
No, he's just not as wide. And you know what I find interesting about this, though, Mark, is how Braun Strowman. It almost sounded like he was talking about Jacob Fatu and him being a team. It really did. So, you know, do you think after seeing this promo that this is kind of a hint that we may be getting a heel Braun here shortly?
You know what? I was thinking the same thing because after Damian walked away and said, I'm not forgetting anything, Braun just kind of gave a kind of a weird grin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know, we could see a heel here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
What about
see.
you?
Let's see what happens and see if what we're saying right now. I agree. It was something a little maybe enticing us to think of maybe something happening.
Yeah.
So hey.
Yeah. All right. So next we go to a recap of Owens attacking Sammy. And apparently Sammy's pretty banged up. No, that's a work, but whatever. Kevin's in his car as he does his car interviews. You gotta love that. You know, I like it or not, it's creative. It's something different. You haven't seen it in 50 years of wrestling. I haven't at least. So it's kind of reminiscent of something Dusty Rhodes would try to pull off. You
Yeah.
know, but
And I tell you, Mark, this is what I liked about this interview. When KO attacked Sammy, you and I, we both said, you know what, we know it'd be a great match, but do we really want to see this again? What was great about this interview is he kind of brought it back to why, you know, he would attack Sammy, and because of you know, Sammy running out to help Roman Reigns, but he just stands by and lets Cody, you know, do what he did to KO. And yeah, I get it. You know, is part of me still, we've seen this many times, yes, but at least he brought something to the table as far as why this time he is attacking Sammy and the fact that this one's different because he will never forgive Sammy again. I like that.
Yeah, but if he would have interfered with Sammy and Cody's match, you know, it would have been a different story, and Kevin would have bitched about that or complained
Right.
about that.
Right. No, and you're right. KO is psychotic, and that's the role you're supposed to be playing. This psychotic guy who lives in his own world and sees his own kind of justice or injustice that's happening to him. And he did well last night. I loved the promo and how he came across. What do you think about it, April?
I like him. So I agree with you. I'm not a Sami Zayn fan, but I do like Kevin Owen. I've always something about him. I don't know. I think I remember one show when he was up in the rafters and jumping down by the announcer's table and something. But I don't know. I've liked him for a long time, and I don't know at what point he kind of won me over. And everybody's like, "You like him?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." Yeah. So yeah, last night I thought he did good.
Yeah. So, Mark, you don't think this promo is a really good promo?
I think it's reminiscent of what Sammy did 3-4 years ago. Kind of in his own world and making accusations or whatnot. Sammy's already done it. All right. I'm not a KO fan. He's a hell of a talent. He just doesn't
Appeal to you?
appeal to me. Yeah, right. And discredit him. You know, um, he's high on somebody's list. I think he should trim his beard and get a haircut. But maybe
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm like the shirt he had on the other day. What was it? I'm the son of the
Yeah.
what dad was a what was it? Computer
Canadian
something like that. So sometimes how he comes out, I'm like you. Yeah, he needs to like get a haircut, trim his beard a little bit, and put a different shirt on. But I like him. I don't know why. Like you don't like him. I like him, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know when. I kind of early on, I never was not a KO fan. Like I'm not obsessive or anything like that, but I like him. So when he comes out, I'm gonna root for him. Like in this case, I don't like Sami Zayn, so I even more so I was on KO's, cheering for him and rooting him and watching him, and I do like him. I felt bad when he was stuck in that ladder. I was nervous, right? I mean, the way he ended up landing, his head was like stuck in between the two slots, and like they just left him there,
Yeah. Was that
and
Mark?
I'm like, they didn't put a collar on, they didn't try to move him, and I was really worried and concerned, and then to hear that after the show, Cody didn't come to do the press conference because he was too hurt, but they never said anything about KO. And I thought he was pretty bad, but
He definitely looked worse out of the two because his
he
eye
did.
was pretty small.
It was
So,
just it
well,
was just the way he landed
landed
and the way he just right in that little nook. It
right.
was like he was stuck.
Yeah.
And so I was just concerned his neck, and then he didn't budge. He didn't move. No one tried to move him.
Yep,
So I'm glad he wasn't hurt.
yep. So, Mark,
But
what were you saying?
no, it just looked bad.
it
You know,
did.
um, and it was probably if it was something that was somehow planned, he sold it like no one, but nobody sold it. But it was probably one of the roughest looking landings I'd seen in wrestling in a long, long time, if ever.
Yeah.
That whole match, they just beat each other up.
Yeah, they did. And the thing with KO with me is this: if KO is not on a show or not on a PLE, I'm not upset about it. If he is on the show or on a PLE, I know I'm going to enjoy the match. So it's one of those things that I could take him or leave him.
Um, his promos are hit or miss, but when they hit, they're great. You know, but when they miss, they miss.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
CM Punk promo, but he's not far behind.
yeah, yeah. So
All right, so next we recap. Hold on. Nope. Next we go to Cesaro versus Camilla Hayes. You know, this match was nothing extraordinary.
this
You
is
know,
my issue. Go ahead, finish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
to be honest.
This is my issue. Well, first I want to know, who has Carmelo Hayes pissed off? In the back, I honestly want to know because it is nothing against Tajiri, but look, Carmelo Hayes should have ran all over Tajiri. Tajiri had a lot of offense to the point that he got some pretty close 2 counts on Carmelo Hayes. This should have been a squash match, 100%. This made Carmelo Hayes look extremely weak, in my opinion.
It
April,
it I wasn't impressed. It was kind of boring, to be honest. I just, you know, it was there. It was, I mean, put it this way, that would have been my match to get up and go refresh my drink, get some more snacks or something, because it just really didn't do anything
yeah,
for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
Body break.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right. So next we go to Charlotte Flair to the ring. And is it me or when she smiled, she looked 10 years older?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be 62 in April, and I'm starting to get frowny lines here. So I get it. I don't know, how old is Charlotte?
She is
Late
40, I believe.
40,
Yeah, late 30s. I think she's my wife's age.
43?
Yeah,
Yeah.
between 38 and 40.
I mean, she still looks great, but I think, I don't know. I don't know if this time off, did it age her a little bit? I mean, I know she's had to work out to get back in, off the injury and all of that.
I think the stuff that she's been through mentally, of which I'm not even going to get into, but I think that may have had something to do with it. But look, I'm going to tell you what I liked about this. When Charlotte showed up at Raw, and the crowd was booing her, I felt bad because you could almost really tell that it bothered her, that she was expecting to get some type of a babyface pop. Yeah. What I liked about this interview is she leaned into those boos on SmackDown. She really did. She was basically, screw you type of an attitude, and that's what I like. Go ahead and finish with the rest of what happened during this part.
Well, basically, she called out Tiffany, and Tiffany came out and said, pick me because I'm tired of being compared to you, saying I'm the next Charlotte Flair. She says, I want to be the Tiffany. I want to beat you at WrestleMania. And Charlotte Flair said, well, you want to face me at WrestleMania? Then get all four and beg. Which I thought was a bit excessive, but I thought, in the same token, it was something different. And it's well within Charlotte's character to do something like that. And then Nia Jax came out and said, well, you might be facing the wrong person because I'm facing Tiffany next week. Now, I don't know if Tiffany's going to drop the belt to Nia and we face, and it goes Nia and Charlotte. I think there's a possibility in that because Nia is a bigger threat than Tiffany is. You know, who's more believable to beat? Nia or Tiffany? I think Charlotte can run rings around Tiffany.
Tiffany, for sure.
But
Yeah.
in token beats Charlotte. That just elevates her so much more. But
So I go ahead. Go
I
ahead,
don't think
finish, Mark. Yeah. I mean, look, this. I don't want to interrupt you. We got a lag here. You finished?
yeah.
Okay, sorry. Look, this is the thing. Well, let's talk about Tiffy for a second. And I'm not trying to be an a-hole, but whoever was her makeup artist last night, way too much makeup on last night. I mean, my people, listen to me. This isn't me, a man, saying this. This is coming from my wife. My
No,
wife, my wife said she looks like a clown.
a clown. That's exactly what I said. I
Um,
completely 100% agree.
Now, as far as Charlotte Flair and Tiffany, I don't for one second think that Charlotte would be picking Tiffany. I think that it's going to be Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. Um, and as far as Tiffany dropping the belt to Nia Jax, I just don't see that happening this close to WrestleMania. I think WWE is high on Tiffy, and they want to see her as champion to face whoever on WrestleMania. But
and the crowd loves her.
well,
You saw
but,
them cheering for Tiffany.
but hold on, April. This is the thing, though, and people can say no all they want, but I'm sorry, you have to bring it up. She is The Rock's cousin, and The Rock has a lot of say so. And if The Rock wants Nia Jax to have her moment at WrestleMania, that's going to happen. I'm not saying that The Rock would do that. I'm not saying that nepotism is ever involved within that family. Not saying that. I'm saying though, it could be a possibility. I mean, you'd be a fool to think that it's not a possibility. But myself, I don't see that happening. I think Tiffany's going to go to WrestleMania as champion. What about you, April?
The fans like her. They're behind her. Myself personally, I don't care for her. So I'd like to see Nia Jax go.
She's a Minnesota girl, April, and we both are in Minnesota.
I don't know. I agree with your wife, and I think she was a little too made up, and I don't know. I mean, she could get gobbled up, to be honest. I don't, we'll see. We'll see. Rhea would be great. Nia would be great. I'm just not a Tiffany. I don't know. I don't really see that happening, but we'll see.
Yeah, but Mark, let me ask you this.
What's that?
I want to ask Mark a question. Wouldn't it just make sense, though, for it to be Charlotte against Rhea, because they do have somewhat of a storyline that's not really finished? And also, before you ask this question, let me say this about Nia Jax and Tiffany. Don't get me wrong. If Tiffany beats Nia Jax, it's going to be because of some type of tomfoolery. It's not going to be a clean win. Not a chance. But Mark, go to that question I asked you.
It'd be the rubber match for Charlotte and Rhea, and it'd be a rubber match at WrestleMania. So, I could see a rubber match anytime, but not at WrestleMania again. I don't think any two stars have had 3 matches at WrestleMania.
Yeah, you're right. But again, let's not forget, Rhea's the one that took the title off of Charlotte and set Charlotte packing for a year and a half, 2 years.
Well, again, I see it's Randy Orton, somebody going 3, but I can't see Charlotte and Rhea going 3 at WrestleMania. But I don't get paid for my opinion, so
that's true.
That's one I'm gonna wait to see. I want to see who's gonna wrestle Charlotte. That's one that I'm waiting to see.
Yeah. Yep.
NXT, because that Julia looks like she's got something going on.
From NXT?
Yeah.
She does, but she's the NXT world champion. So, but Charlotte did say she's going to NXT, but that just wouldn't make sense to me, Mark. Why would Charlotte demote herself
and go
back to a place that is talent development?
She went there last Tuesday.
Oh, did she? Okay. Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah. we all did. All right, so Alexa Bliss comes out, and she got a hell of a pop from the crowd. And to be quite honest, 2 years off did good for her. She looks good.
But another fan favorite. I like her. I'm not, crazy, but I like her.
Yeah, but is it?
When did I see her? Was she in Money in the Bank? I can't remember what I saw her in, but I liked her. I like her.
But let me ask you this question. Is it me, or was there some ring rust that was noticed last night in the match? There was one spot where she got thrown into the ropes and she sat in the ropes and she waited for her opponent. And you could tell that they were off with that one spot. But after that spot, they figured it out, and it turned out, she damn good match for her first real match back. Besides that one spot, she didn't look like she missed a step at all. She did really well.
I think she was trying to do a certain move, and for some reason felt that she couldn't hit it right.
Yeah, maybe the timing or something.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's what we're seeing. It almost looked like she was going to try to do that Andrade thing where she laid it in the ropes, and just felt like she just hit it wrong
Right.
and couldn't do it right. So she just
Scrapped it.
scrapped it for lack
Yep.
of term.
Yep. But like I
Um,
said, after that though, that match, she did a good job in her match.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a good one. It was a good match.
Yep.
So next we go to Chelsea and Piper interview. Chelsea talking about her match next week against Naomi. B-Fab and Minshew come out, talk a little smack. And then Zelina comes out and throws out a challenge to Chelsea. I'd love to see Zelina take the title from Chelsea. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Me too.
So the part of the interview that I kind of focused on was one when Chelsea asked Piper Niven, "Aren't you supposed to be getting me a bigger security team?" Basically, which led me to believe, who will they be recruiting? Who's going to be there with Piper Niven to protect Chelsea? And then the part that made me laugh was when Piper asked Chelsea, "How many people hate you?"
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
not a fan either.
Oh, I think Chelsea's a riot. She's that spoiled brat that you just want to slap. So I for some reason I dig it. I don't know why.
Yep.
Yep. But let me ask you both a question. Who would you see if you had to predict? Who would you predict would Piper Niven um, recruit to work with her to help protect Chelsea? Do you think that it's going to be a current WWE star, or do you think it's going to be someone from NXT? Do you think it might be someone they're bringing into WWE?
I would pick the female version of the APA, and I'd go with Janet Baszler and Starks. Is that her
You're
name?
right.
Don't, Tony Starks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are
you're right.
good. Those are two good choices. I would agree. Those are two good ones.
Well, I
I don't
tell
know
you,
about, I don't know about a newbie. I'd maybe go with one of those two, or who knows? Maybe they might get some big, a hot wrestler right now. I don't know who else I would
well,
choose.
it would make more sense now that Sonya Deville's gone for them to get those two because they have nothing right now. Unless they somehow keep that faction up by bringing somebody else in. But other than that, this would give those two something to do, and it would shine a light on them as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and that Starks had a great performance at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah.
and that new look I liked.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next we go to the Street Profits, putting everybody DIY and everybody on notice. I liked the promo. I liked
I,
it. I liked it
I
better than.
Go ahead, Mark.
No. That's
Yeah.
I praise it any more than that. I liked it.
I loved it. It made them look strong. It made I apologize. Not the guy that jumps off the top rope. I can't remember their names.
Angelo.
Yeah, Angelo and Dawkins, right?
I had the other name until you just said it. Um, no, Angelo Dawkins is one, and the other one is Montel Ford.
Yeah,
Montel.
so yeah,
That's
Montel, you're right. So this made Angelo look so strong last night because remember, whenever they were teasing that they were going to break up, we were concerned that Angelo was going to be the guy that kind of got lost in the shuffle because Montel Ford outshines him a lot. This promo made him look so strong last night. It was great. I loved it. Now, I hope when they go to the ring, they actually have different ring gear to go with kind of that dark, badass side that we've seen last night of those guys. Yeah, this was my favorite promo they've ever done.
I'm a fan. I like them.
Yeah,
I think I'm more heels than I do his faces, and I liked him
I
as
do
face.
too. I do too. And look, Montel Ford, he's incredible, man. I mean, look, if they ever wanted him to have a singles career, he could
And
have a very
I've been
successful,
saying that for a long time. He can be
very
on it.
single.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he absolutely could. 'Cause, you know, a lot of times when tag team champions or tag team groups break up, they'll have the feud against one another, and then once that feud's gone, they both at times, more times than not, get lost in a shuffle. I mean, it's very rare that you have an HBK, you know, or Shawn Michaels develop into that HBK legendary Hall of Famer, you know, that comes from a tag team group. Very rare. I think Montel 4 will be one of those times, though.
Yep.
I don't think anybody gets a higher frog splash than him. I don't think
No,
anybody has. And I respect Eddie's, I respect RVD's, but Montel Ford gets some height on that sucker.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. And I've said he could have been out on his own already. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. But right now, I like them together. Um, they just, you know, especially after last night, I don't want to see them break up right now. You know, I want to see belts on them.
I want to see Mania.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
probably will four-way dance at WrestleMania.
that's what I'm thinking.
At least a three-way, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a four-way.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the Motor City Machine Guns. Um, they're saying, hey, if you want us, we're right here. Come get us. You know. Then the Garcias come in, make an offer of a challenge. So I think we're gonna see a face-off next week. You know what? The Garcias are a really, really good team. They're just underutilized.
Well,
They're good as Motor City Machine Guns, in my opinion.
look, I agree with you. They are good. But again, they're just one of those teams that I'm not able to connect with. And it could be because of the fact that they are so you know, under you they're not booked enough, they're not on TV enough, or we don't see them winning enough matches. They're not spotlighted. I don't know. But I just know that this match doesn't excite me at all whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, I think it's a spectacular match. You know, if you if you
I
look if you look at the Motor Machine Guns and how they've been portrayed, they are just fireballs in that ring. And the Garcias can match that easily for speed, And as far as wrestling ability, I think Garcias are easily a match for Motor City Machine Guns. While both of them guys are fabulous, these guys are second generation. These guys are cousins. You can't mold that. That just is
That's
or
right.
yeah, that's the natural connection.
Yeah.
right.
Look, Mark, I agree with you, right? And I'm sure when I watch the match next week, I'm gonna be like, holy shit, this is a good match. I 100% agree. But as of right now, with it being on paper, it doesn't excite me.
Oh, I understand completely. I understand completely. You know,
Yeah.
but I'm looking at the prospects.
Right. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Next. Oh, I'm sorry.
But
No,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Next, we go to a video clip of next week. Braun, Damian, and Jacob. Not much really to say. It was a video.
Well, no, I do have something to say about this video. This look, when you have a video of a man by himself overturning an 18 wheeler on the side, that just bugs me because that should mean that Braun Strowman should absolutely just go in there and just wipe everybody out. I don't think they should have shown that part of the video. I just think it's ridiculous. And I don't like when they go over the top that way because we both know that it's going to be Fatu that's going to win this match. We all know this. So how can Fatu beat a man, or how can Damian Priest beat a man that is so strong he can flip over a freaking 18 wheeler? Just didn't like it.
Well, first of all, there's no way in God's green earth Braun Strowman flipped over an 18 wheeler. No way. So even try to utilize that in any aspect when it actually happened or replaying it is ridiculous.
My point.
Yeah.
He'd be
Not,
against
not
easily.
believable.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
Yeah.
I think that at times they should really think about the stuff that they're doing. I understand that they are trying to show and demonstrate Braun Strowman as this monster. But come on, why don't we show one of the video packages of him uh, flipping over a car, a smaller car? That's more believable.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or what's his name drove the tractor into the ring. Like that was totally, I loved that. Who was that?
right.
Uh,
That
Brock Lesnar? No, who was it?
no,
It was
Brock
either
Lesnar.
Oscar
Was it
and-
Brock Lesnar?
Oh yeah, with
Yeah.
Brock.
When he drove the tractor into the
Yeah.
ring, lifted the ring and all that. That was believable. That was just
Right.
amazing. You know, so if you're gonna do something really, over the top, it needs to be believable, and that was, but
Right.
last, no.
That's because Brock Lesnar was a farm boy.
Yeah, it was.
All right, so next week, Dan Cody versus Jacob and Tama Tonga. Cody pins Tama. All right, the only thing I got out of this match was Solo was back.
Yeah.
That's basically
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I got out of this match is it appears to me that Tama Tonga is going to be that enhanced talent within that bloodline because he's the one that takes all of the pins. And I think it's a damn shame because I like him. I like his yeah. And I do. And he could pull off being crazy. I like the guy, and I hate that he's constantly taking the pins. Solo appearing, gotta be honest with you, that didn't make me excited.
No. I lost all interest in Solo once he became the tribal chief.
Yeah.
I lost all interest,
No,
Is
no,
good for, and that's an
what?
arm position.
Yeah,
He's what he's good for. He's not a public speaker. He's not somebody you can get behind.
yeah,
But they had to do at the time, I guess.
yeah. No, this is something I thought about. I want to ask both of you guys, and I don't know why my brain thought about this. But in the beginning of the show, when they decided to go ahead and book this match and make it the main event, my brain went to this. So you guys, after the show has started, have now made this match, this tag team match, a main event. Does that mean that the main event that you were planning on having, those guys just gets bumped off? Because you have to believe that they had a main event in mind, and then for them to book this main event,
Yeah.
they booted somebody out. It just, I don't know. It's little details. It just, I don't know. I don't know why my brain thought that way. It just did.
So you're saying that when they advertised that they were coming to your town, like as they came to Minneapolis, and they advertised the main event of, so and so versus so and then changed it for Cody, you don't think they advertised it as Cody and Jay versus Tamaloa and Jacob Fatu?
Sure.
They're marketing to that specific area, within a 50-mile radius. They're not marketing around the United States. You aren't seeing, under captions saying, oh, coming to Minneapolis, these are the matches, on a nationwide channel. You're not seeing that anymore.
Right. But you're missing my point. My point is it makes it seem like that they bumped a pay-per-view. I mean, they bumped the main event to make this match a main event. Not that they advertised for a certain main event. I'm just saying, if you think about a show, then they come and they're prepared. This is going to be the final match. But then all of a sudden, when they decide to make another match, the final match, that means that theoretically, the other two people got bumped. It's not nothing to even get into a deep discussion about. Just how my brain wandered and made me, think that. All I'm saying.
Isn't it? Because how do you know this wasn't advertised as the main event for that area?
You're missing the point. Never mind. Never mind.
The same bummer. Two people or two got bumped. It should have been the main event.
but we don't
Right.
know the main event.
No, but you're missing the point. All right, just look. You have to once again um dismiss your belief in reality and go into that disbelief. In professional wrestling, like any show, they have the show prepared. They know what direction they're going to go in, right?
But
So when they decide to book a main event at the beginning of the show, then that means that in wrestling land, somebody had to have gotten bumped for this main event to happen. Not that they really had, not that this wasn't planned already. I'm saying because of, you get it. You understand now?
Right. So you're finally seeing it. So we don't know that this wasn't the main event. All right.
Never mind. Never mind.
next.
Yeah. You know what? There's no next. This finishes and completes the recap. Welcome to a podcast of me and Mark. Sometimes just gets a little goofy. But yeah, that's
well, but
what?
we mean
Yeah, we mean well, David. But this does this wraps up the SmackDown recap. Please follow and subscribe. Monday, I am going to have Triple M out of California here. He is a professional wrestling manager. Great guy, funny guy. I'm looking forward to the interview.
Wait,
And
who's
then
that?
Triple M.
Oh yeah, okay, that's Monday, right?
Yep. That's this coming Monday.
All right.
And then we'll be back for on Tuesday with Bob Cook, the legendary Bob Cook, to discuss Raw. Did we like it? Did we not like it? We'll find out when we talk about it. Mark, I will give this SmackDown a solid B. What about you?
I gotta go B minus.
On
Plus, it just didn't flow as well as I thought it could have.
Yeah, I would have to agree because there was the couple matches that I could have taken my bathroom break in. So I would say a B minus also.
I still go W was better on Wednesday than either Raw or SmackDown. It just flowed better.
I would agree with that. I would agree that AEW was better.
And that's AEW to beat both shows, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree. No, I'm hoping that Raw is good this coming Monday. I'm really hoping Dynamite's gonna be good because that's their go-home show for the Australia special that they're gonna have. But yeah, other than that, guys, this is the recap that we finished. April, do you have anything that you need to
No,
promote?
just have a good Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow and go Eagles.
That's it. Banned. She's banned.
Well, put it this way, I have predicted all the winners in the playoffs. So this was my final prediction that it would be the Eagles and the Chiefs. And my buddy Paul in Kansas City area is a big Chiefs fan. And so I cheer with him for the Chiefs as long as it doesn't involve my Saints or the Eagles. Those are my two teams. So go Eagles.
Well,
Go.
I know this much about the Super Bowl. The Vikings ain't in it once again, so
I'll put them in, but
coulda, shoulda, woulda.
woulda. Anyway, thanks, Fred. I appreciate it. Nice talking with you guys, and we'll see you the next time. Aloha.
Yep. Aloha, and Mark, we'll be talking soon, guys. Again, subscribe, and we will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great one.
Remember, when you subscribe, we're free.
That's right, and ring the damn bell, everybody.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
I will tell everybody, like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, absolutely. Bye-bye.
Thank you.